Welcome to ISF Plus, Indian Summer Festival's year-round programming series, to the launch of Wayfinder, musician and composer Mohamed Assani's latest album launch. Normally, we would have all been in the same venue, but thanks to the global pandemic, we find ourselves here on your screens. But the beautiful thing about that, of course, is that our venue just became the whole planet. So thank you all for joining us, and also Ramadan wishes to all those observing. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm sitting here on the traditional and ceded and ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples, currently called Vancouver. And specifically in Vancouver, we're in an area that's really important to the South Asian community. Just 2 blocks away was the first Sikh temple in Canada, built in 1908, and in 1949, India's first Prime Minister, Nehru, would give a speech there about Canada's multicultural future. And here we are, 71 years later, in the beautiful premises of East India Carpets, founded by the legendary Jab Sidhu in 1948. And many thanks to them really for hosting us here and for this beautiful venue for this event. This evening was really made possible by our presenting sponsor, Creative BC. And I'd like to give them and their CEO, Prem Gill, a huge shout out for making sure that our work and the creativity of artists continues in these uncertain times. And also I'd like to thank our sponsors TELUS and Factor for supporting the creation of this album. Mohamed was the first artist to perform under the banner of Indian Summer Festival when we launched 9 years ago. And so it's very fitting for us to be here tonight with him. Since that moment when we met, Mohamed has performed for heads of state. He's worked with jazz ensembles, he's worked with orchestras, hip-hop artists, and in 2017, he wrote a concerto for the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra, which was acclaimed. A critic writing about his latest album in Jazz Views says, "The way Mohamed Assani has manipulated, caressed, and amalgamated so many different styles under the watchful rule of his sitar is nothing short of mesmeric, a unique and surprising record that will take you places you've never been before. Welcome to Wayfinder, and please, a warm welcome for Mohamed Assani."
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you so much to Suresh and the whole team at the Indian Summer Festival. I know that I wouldn't have been able to do these things without your amazing support and inspiration. And I really appreciate that so many ideas have rebounded between us, and thanks for all your support, and I hope we'll get to talk more about our journey.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to present my first track, which is called Awakening. And this track is based on Rag Ahir Bhairav. But again, like in this project, I'm trying to respect the traditional norms, but as well as going out and trying other aspects of the rag. So hope you like it. This is Awakening, and this is a morning rag. Thanks.
Wow. So I feel awakened.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you said it's a morning raga, and of course it's morning somewhere,
Yes,
always.
absolutely.
But the fact that ragas have moods and times of day is something quite beautiful. I was thinking that one of the things in your work and what's so interesting about all this is that meeting of musical worlds. And I was thinking also that someone who did that a lot is worth acknowledging, given that Pandit Ravi Shankar's 100th year birthday was just a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely.
And I think he was, really responsible for the sitar coming out as this ambassador of Indian classical music.
Absolutely.
And of course, then meeting the Beatles and George Harrison getting into it,
Yes.
sort of brought it more into the consciousness of the Western world, but it was
A huge contribution, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A great person who had not only played sitar, but brought many other concepts and pulled other energies into the music of sitar and the repertoire. And that helped to expand I mean, one of the things was that I heard Pandit Ravi Shankar's sitar concerto a long time ago. And okay, does this happen? Like, oh, this is sitar and an orchestra all playing together. And that was an inspiration. Like years later,
Yeah.
I wrote, with John Oliver, I wrote a concerto. So, so those are all these things that, there are countless things that Pandit Ravi Shankar did in many different aspects that has inspired. And another thing that I must say that I was extremely fortunate to attend a college where Pandit Ravi Shankar very briefly in his career taught.
Oh.
Okay, so that the college that I went to is called Dartington College of Arts, and it was actually founded by Rabindranath Tagore and a philanthropist called Elmhurst. So the Dartington is supposed to look just like Santi Niketan.
Gosh.
So here I was traveling from Pakistan to learn piano, and when I get to Dartington, there was Pandit Sharda Sahai, there were people from Indonesia teaching gamelan, and there were teachers, who specialize in African music, and also a lot of contemporary Western music. So although I had a small window, I was going to learn Beethoven and Mozart, but it was like huge. All these influences have helped me to, think beyond, basically.
Amazing. And so what worlds do we get to see in your next track? Do we get to hear?
Okay, this next track is called Serendipity, which my daughter Arzu named. It's easy to make tunes, but it's really hard to name them actually sometimes. So this one has a bit of jazz flavors, and in this I played two sitars. Obviously, you'll hear one of the sitars on the track, and this is also based in a rag Madhumanti, which I use mostly. Most of the time in this type of music, when I'm using a rag, I do break the rules because I like breaking rules.
Well, it's a good job you're keeping two sitar lengths away from
That's
here.
right. I'm keeping.
That one,
we are keeping two sitar lengths. Yes, yeah. That's true. So there we go. Now I will need to tune for each number. So that takes me a moment or two.
Don't let me stop you.
Thank you.
Nice. That was beautiful. Nice bass line.
Oh, thank you.
That was-
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to sort of hear all the influences you spoke of before in your musical training, in all the journeys you've made, and then hear that in this.
Yeah.
You keep going all over. I mean, Wayfinder is a good name, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
again, thank you for suggesting this name, and it really shaped my thinking for the narrative for the project. So,
Oh, well, thank the Polynesians. They were the ones who called Wayfinders the astronauts of our ancestors.
but I learned that from you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But it's it's funny when you think of sitar and you think of the influences. You go to the Mughal courts, you go to mystic poetry, you go to Hindustani rags, but you rarely think of Ariana Grande. And I believe that was the inspiration for your next track. How did that happen?
Because I kind of knew that I wanted a new sound palette for this album, this project, and I drive my daughter to school every morning, and so I was driving Arzu to school, and she loves and she totally controls the stereo in the morning. I cannot play any of my Vilayat Khan or Ravi Shankar, no chance. So she played, and often she has a very good taste. Like she's a really brilliant taste, and she's a big critic of my music. If I play a bit out of tune, she'll say that's not good. Okay, so what happened? She played this one of my favorite tunes, which is from Sound of Music. My favorite things. I've always loved that tune. So when I heard a version by Ariana Grande, it's called The Seven Rings. I just loved the beat and then the lower end of the bass and the whole ambience. And I thought, yeah, this song is already beautiful, but this hearing with this kind of this modern lift is really nice. So I told my daughter, I said, thank you so much. I'm going to make a track using the accompaniment that I heard, like inspired by that kind of like vibe and the beats and the grooves. So basically, and then when so I recorded this album with my producer, who's a wonderful, superb, fantastic producer. Like I really
Adam Sheikh, yeah.
Adam Sheikh, of course. So
quite
grateful,
the legend, yeah.
grateful for Adam to bring his expertise, and a very amazing person. So I, upon arriving at Adam's studio late in, because it takes 9 hours to get there, 9, 10. So like late at night, I'm there, and and he had told me that like we had talked about what kind of sound palette, and he said he has a huge library. So I play him this song, and then he plays me about like 50 or 60 different drum beats. So then I choose from those drum beats, and that was the process for many of these things. So if I wanted a certain bass sound, the library would open. We will listen to the, So that's how this song.
So you picked from a library of sound.
A huge library of sounds and so on.
You got me curious.
Yeah. Okay. So this tune is called Black Sugar.
Yeah.
Which my wife, lovely wife Shaha, named.
Your family is responsible for a lot of
for a lot of I'm really grateful for all their support. So thank you. Yeah. So this is a Black Sugar.
You know, even though we're all sitting here in one place, everyone's at home. Music is an act of travel, and what you just did was travel. I was thinking of the original favorite things from Rodgers and Hammerstein on Broadway, and then of course that beautiful John Coltrane version, and now Ariana Grande, and now you've taken it back somewhere else. So that's lovely. It's nice to think of all those journeys that you make. And now we actually do go back all the way to the beginning of the sitar.
Absolutely, yes.
We go back 700 years. We go
700
to
years.
the 13th century and
Correct.
Amir Khusro.
Amir Khusro.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So this one is like a tribute to Amir Khusro, a very eclectic personality, and worked with many different cultures, and was a pioneering influence in India. He invented the sitar. He's credited to have invented a lot of rags. And of course, we all know about Qawwali, was invented by Hazrat Amir Khusro. He brought the ghazal into Hindustani music. And so one of the wonderful thing that happens in Indian music is called tarana. And tarana is, while I will keep tuning as well while I'm talking. So tarana is somewhere where you don't have to speak a language, but you use words and sounds. For example, tana derena, deen tana derena, dirdirda. So these are all like syllables which don't actually mean anything. I mean, now they mean something in music. So I mean, it is believed that Amir Khusro was working. His father had lived in India for like one generation, so he was like this next generation, and we are going back in 12th century. So Amir Khusro used the tarana to bridge the gap bit of language, so you can communicate, and you can have musicians from different parts of India, and you know, like, and work together without the language barrier. So it was like a very pioneering idea. So in this composition, which is called Khusro's Footsteps, I use a tarana that I composed, inspired by Amir Khusro. I use inspiration from one of the melodies that he's composed, which is called Chap Tilak, which is again a beautiful Sufi song.
Let's go back to the source. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this song is my childhood, my adulthood, everything. It's been there throughout. It reminds me of sitting with
Yes.
my parents in the courtyard, listening to music. My first introduction to music, actually. I've heard this tune forever. So
Absolutely. These are like
Yeah.
what we call Sada Bahar. Sada means forever, and Bahar means spring. Forever spring. Like,
forever spring.
And you have these nuggets in all different styles of music.
Yeah.
So I thought, just like that Ariana Grande song, this was like a take on a very different.
Yeah.
And I use my own composition, which
Yeah.
is a tarana,
Yeah.
that follows that tune.
And I'm sure everyone who's listening felt themselves moving in that old way that that it reminded me of. And it's funny that I was taken back to childhood, because actually your next track, and I'm really happy that you've chosen to do this one, is very much linked to that, because I remember we were working on a different project completely,
That's right.
you and I, a few years ago, on a musical tribute to Scheherazade,
Scheherazade.
the storyteller of all storytellers of the 1001 Nights. And then we got talking about lullabies and how maybe the first time that we ever hear music is a lullaby, is our mothers singing to
Absolutely,
us. And that's the first time we come into contact with
Yes.
music. And then you took that away. I love that you did that.
I mean, when you say that, right now my hairs are standing. The concept that the first music and the stories we hear is from our mothers. So, and that is, as you very much wanted to honor that, and so did I. And we talked about, can we have lullabies and find different lullabies in different traditions. But then I thought, inspired by the concept of lullaby, I thought, why don't I actually write a lullaby myself for my own mother? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is in honor for my mother.
Yeah, Mohamed Bhai, I wish I could reach out.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know she passed.
It was exactly 6 years yesterday when she passed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Suresh.
That was beautiful in composition, but also in gesture, because what could be more moving than a child writing a lullaby for their parent?
Yes.
And I know that, for many of us right now, what this pandemic has done is just made us understand what's valuable to us, the people we love who are not always where we are. And so thank you for, holding that moment.
Thank you for showing that love and understanding that love, and for all your support and inspiration. This piece really came out from your idea of Lullaby. So thank you so much.
Well, night has fallen, and this is a beautiful way to end. So thank you, old friends and new, for joining us. I'd like to say thank you so much for bringing Wayfinder into the world. God knows we need it now.
Yes.
Wayfinders in this moment. And also, I think, I'd like to say that artists right now are an essential service. We're all turning to art, whether it's film or books or music, for levity or solace. So I'd like to underline that. I'd like to also give a big shout out to the Indian Summer Festival crew who worked so hard to make this happen.
Absolutely.
The folks at East India Carpets and the incredible team at McMedia for their patience and their good cheer in helping us put all this together and stream to you. So please do support Mohamed's work by buying the album. The link is there. And if you think you'd like to see us do more like this, make sure that artists get paid, crew get paid, and we bring you things for free. Support Indian Summer Festival. We will continue to create and continue to bring you fantastic events.
Thank you.
And until we can meet again in person, see you on your screen.
I would like to say some thank yous, please.
Of course.
I would really like to thank my wife Shaha and my daughter Arzu and my whole family for their incredible support and ideas. And one thing that I learned, that like how easy it is to learn from young people like my daughter. You know, like that's something that is always humbling. And as a teacher, I always think that the teacher learns a lot while you're teaching.
Yeah.
So it's really, I'm really thankful for that. And also I really want to thank my wonderful musicians. You heard Ustad Shahbaz Hussain on tabla, wonderful, very inspiring. Also you heard the wonderful, multi-talented, multi-instrumentalist Curtis Andrews on the mbira, the mridangam and the kanjira. And also on the bass, we had Jean-C, Sebastian Le Douget. So thank you for all these wonderful musicians for bringing their own colors. And also, again, I want to thank Adam for his wonderful work as a producer. I really appreciate. I would like to thank Creative BC and Factor Foundation. And again, I cannot thank you enough, Sirish, my brother, and the Indian Summer Festival. It is so important that the work that we do, like really sometimes you guys lift us and just give that hope and inspiration to continue. So I'm very, very grateful. Thank you very much, Sirish.
Many thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.